If you don't know who Jack Doherty is, then I am begging you to click off this video now. Your life is actively better for not knowing. But if you do know, then you won't be surprised that he once again is being an irresponsible man-child, except this time, he almost got himself and his cameraman killed. Now, we'll get into all of that in the situation and what happened and what transpired in just a bit, but I first want to talk a little bit about his background, because Jack Doherty is basically a perfect example of what happens when you grow up with no accountability on YouTube from a young age of like 12 or 13 and make money really early doing crazier and crazier things to keep getting attention and reactions. When he was young, he was actually posting pretty innocent videos. There's nothing here that really stands out as bad. He's doing marker flips. He's talking about Black Ops Xbox bundle, backflip progression, more backflips. He's prank calling some people, which isn't really that harmful. But for the most part, these are just kind of silly, harmless videos that aren't costing him or anyone around him any kind of money, issues, potential loss of life. But that all changed when he hit virality for the first big time in his career with this video, singing Despacito on Walmart intercom, kicked out. And the virality of that led him to start doing more and more relatively extreme for his channel at the time, things where he's causing inconveniences to people for the sole purpose of getting reactions from either employees, usually from Walmart or Target, or from other customers. It became less about what he did in the videos and more how people reacted to what he did in the videos so that he could get more views. And this began the now all too infamous cycle of doing something dumb, getting reactions either from the people in the videos or from other like streamers, YouTubers, commentary channels, and so on, making money off of that because that would boost his popularity, and the cycle would continue. I think it's annoying and stupid, and I think you shouldn't do it, but you could also reasonably argue that no one was really getting hurt with this. That is, until they were getting hurt, and that is where we come into his first violent confrontation, and he actually did end up getting sued for this in February of this year. So about a year ago, Jack Doherty was attending a Karina Kopp's Halloween party when this altercation took place, and I'm gonna blur out the actual hit itself, but also a content warning anyway. An innocent bystander gets punched in the face for absolutely no reason.
What are you talking to, dog? I'm just saying, y'all say
So some sort of argument has broken out, and then for just no reason, that guy's name is Kane Kong. He's a former boxer, very large dude. I think he's 6'9". He was in the super heavyweight category, 6'9", 400 pounds, and he just knocks out this person for essentially no reason at all. Now, Jack has used bodyguards to be an asshole in the past. There's this now pretty famous video or series of videos where he's walking around, I think it's New York, like this, with the idea of running into people and getting reactions out of them, and then his gigantic bodyguard will then try and intimidate the person into not reacting because of how big he is. And Jack will of course continue to mock the people behind standing behind his bodyguard because he's a pathetic little dweeb. But this is his brand. This is the brand that he has actively been building for himself. This is the stuff that he does. And the idea is he will do these kinds of things and he will profit off of people making content about him while other people watch that content and hope for Jack's downfall. It serves to continuously boost himself to newer and newer audiences. If 99 out of 100 people find this content bizarre and objectionable, as I do, then the 1 out of 100 will find it funny even though it's not, and they will become a follower of his, which is how he's amassed 15 million subscribers on his main channel and over 1 million on his second channel. Now, as you can see with this content, he goes to different places and there were altercations with other people as he continues to go around and have his bodyguard try and scare people. But to my knowledge, no one was really actively or severely hurt by this. But obviously for the incident you just saw of his bodyguard hitting someone else at a party for no reason, he did get sued for that. And here is the specifics of the lawsuit. In the legal filing, it was noted that the YouTuber has a history of recording himself harassing, assaulting, and antagonizing members of the public by having his bodyguard intimidate them and then proceed to assault them if they react. Now, Gardella is suing for assault, battery, negligence, negligent hiring, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Doherty has yet to respond to the lawsuit, and considering this was like 6 or 8 months ago that this was filed, I can't imagine he is going to respond. So you can see this pattern of Jack's activity becoming more and more extreme and violent in order to keep the views coming in, the people reacting, and himself at the top of what kind of YouTuber news cycle there is in an attempt to stay relevant. It started pretty small and harmless with him just being a news nuisance at Walmart to get reactions from people. But then that turned into small-time vandalism as he like pushed over displays and got workers in trouble if he could. And then that turned into him being an asshole in public to people. And then that turned into inciting violent confrontations that turned into assault. And then that, most recently, almost turned into vehicular manslaughter, which is probably why you clicked on this video. A few days ago, Jack was streaming on Kick, and while he was streaming on Kick, he was looking at chat on his phone, and you can imagine that driving in the rain, probably over the speed limit while looking at your phone, is just an absolutely horrible idea, so you're probably not surprised that's what's gonna happen here in just a couple of minutes. Excuse me, a couple of seconds. There it is. His Lamborghini spins out. He hits the side. I assume the camera memory card is jostled or something like that, and the video has to be restarted. And then here we are. And there it cuts to him being outside on the highway. I really don't believe this is faked. This seems too large scale to be faked. There's his Lamborghini totaled and smashed up against the barrier there on the side. I want you to notice how he didn't actually ask how his cameraman was doing. Instead, he just kept filming because he needed to get that content and going on and on and on about how terrible it is that his car was damaged, and he has essentially no care for his cameraman. We can continue to watch the video here as he's going on, and he turns around, finally pointing the camera at his cameraman, who, as you can see, has obviously a head injury, possibly a concussion, possibly is in shock of some kind. But as always, the most important thing to Jack is his money and his car, and then a distant third is the life and safety of the people around him. And this is what solidified him as being human garbage in my mind. I realized that his whole thing is that he causes trouble, he goads people into reactions, he has this asshole-ish brand of a rich kid who can do whatever he wants that he does for views, but in the midst of what nearly kills his cameraman by his own negligent actions, he makes sure that he can film the whole situation, goes on about his car, and is more worried about the money and the views than he is about someone's life that he endangered and almost took. There's a line between being an asshole and rage baiting and then just having such blatant and negligent disregard for human life. And as I was watching this video, and as you continue to watch it and the ambulance comes and so on, I think this isn't meant to be rage bait or staged. I feel like this is actually a real near-death experience for him, his cameraman, the cars in the other lane that he swerved across while he lost control of his vehicle. And in the midst of all of this, the most important thing to, oh, hello, Blue. The most important thing to him is that his $200,000 car is totaled, and the second most important thing to him is to continue to film so that he can make money off of it and keep those chat and Kick donations rolling in. Lots of people on YouTube act out a specific character for the videos they do, and for the most part, I don't really care about that. But I don't think it can be reasonably argued that this is him just acting in character, considering he's had a near-death experience. I think this can only be described as a pathetic and depraved individual who doesn't care about anything except himself and money. Now, there's one final aspect to this story that's really important that I want to talk about. When you search Jack Doherty and downfall, you get all sorts of negative things saying that, like, his downfall, his life is ruined, his career is over, he's banned, downfall needs to be studied, you know, his downfall needs to be studied, he just got humbled live, his career is ending, so on and so forth. But I honestly don't think that's true. Internet Anarchist did the video recently called The Satisfying Downfall of Jack Doherty, in which, well, there's a commercial, so we'll never know, but basically in this video he talks about all of the controversies that Jack has had in his life, which is mostly the same stuff that I've covered here, and he's talking about how everyone close to Jack is leaving. But the title, The Satisfying Downfall of Jack Doherty, implies that there is a downfall, but I don't think there is. I think this satisfying downfall is just not true. He's not having a downfall. He specifically built his entire audience around being this person that flaunts his wealth, doesn't care, and will do anything for views. And hugely public events like the car crash are not going to make that audience go away, because that's specifically what they're there for. That is the content that they subscribe to get, and that is what he's giving them. I understand that we want the bad guy to lose, and we want someone as pathetic as him to pay for this kind of thing, and the things that he's doing, the mistakes that he's making, and the people that he's hurting along the way. But the reality of the situation is that he's just not. He's still still got tens of millions of YouTube subscribers. He still makes tens of millions of dollars off of his OnlyFans empire, his streaming, and his YouTube videos. He still gets some 30 million views a month on YouTube. There is no downfall here unless he goes to jail, because this is what he does. This is the audience he's built, and this is what they want to see. There's not a happy ending here. There's just an honest one. Thanks for watching.